The idea emerged in response to the unprecedented scale of the refugee crisis. In 2018 alone, more than 29 million babies were born into situations of conflict, 1 in 5 children globally. So we know that that means that they spent the most formative years of their life in situations of unimaginable chaos and violence and insecurity. And yet, despite all we know about the importance of the first years of life and the failure to intervene and how that can result in long-term deficits in children's ability to thrive and to reach their full potential, to grow to be happy, productive, and healthy adults, the humanitarian system had largely neglected to address the core developmental needs of young children. And so IRC, together with Sesame Street, came together to really think through what could be an innovative response, how we could transform the humanitarian system to ensure that services really put young children and families of young children at the core.
Now, Sesame Street has dealt with several weighty issues in the past, but how do you even begin to approach something as complex and horrific as war, famine, displacement, and by the end of it, make children understand what's going on as well as make them feel safe?
Well, both Sesame Workshop and the International Rescue Committee, where I work, have decades of experience working in difficult contexts and understanding the realities on the ground of the families who have experienced violence, misplacement, and chaos. We try to really, the programmatic approach is so important for us because we ensure that there is a consistency, that there's a normalcy restored in the lives of young children and families so that when they are entering preschools or entering centers, they can feel safe, they can have a sense of belonging. We have a lot of our programs focus very much on staff professional development, whether it's facilitators or teachers or home visitors who are very much trained in the particular needs of young children and families of young children who have experienced conflict and crisis. And then, of course, our partners at Sesame are experts at developing engaging and entertaining content and tackling really difficult issues through the child's lens and being able to frame very difficult topics in ways that are understandable to children, are understandable to parents of young children, and allow them to really tackle emotions in a playful and joyful way. And so the partnership has really worked well in that way, that we've been able to infuse the great multimedia content of Sesame with the direct service programs of IRC to really create a new type of experience for families of young children.
You mentioned the importance of establishing a sense of normalcy, but these are clearly extraordinary circumstances they're dealing with. What do you have to consider when you're trying to cover such heavy subjects?
Not all of the children are living in acute crisis settings, but all of them are living in relative instability and insecurity. One of the ways that we address that is to really focus on the core needs that all children require. And that really starts with empowering the caregiver and modeling how the caregiver can be responsive and loving and nurturing to a child so that they can feel that sense of security even amidst chaos. And so there's a strong focus on that within both the mass media program as well as our direct service programs. And then, as I mentioned before, restoring normalcy, ensuring that the consistency of routines, of be they songs or prayer or other elements that are so critical to the cultural values of the families, that they have the opportunities to continue that even amidst chaos and displacement. And our programs really try to encourage families to understand how they can help their children and help their families restore that normalcy.
Now, the program includes on-the-ground projects where development officers work directly with refugee children. What can you tell us about them? Who are the people who take up this kind of job?
So many of our frontline staff are refugees themselves. They're living side by side with the community members they're serving. And so they feel passionate about the issues. They're obviously very culturally close to these issues and to the population with whom they're serving. And it's often an economic opportunity for them as well to actually provide for them, their family, and be able to contribute to society in a way that they may not outside of the refugee context, because there are many challenges related to labor laws and the ability and the right to work in particular contexts. We do have national staff, host country staff who work within our programs as well. So whether they're Jordanian or Iraqi or Lebanese, often they are just very committed, passionate individuals who understand the need for these types of services and programs and are very dedicated to ensuring that we're delivering high quality programs on the ground. In addition, we do have international team members who provide support, but the vast majority, and particularly the frontline staff, are typically refugees themselves.
So what's your measuring stick here? How do you assess that what you've created is successful and it is making a difference?
The overall goal is that we are able to transform a generation, to restore hope, to improve children's developmental outcomes, to really change their life trajectory. So we will be measuring the progress and the impact of these programs to hopefully be able to scientifically show that these types of interventions make a meaningful and measurable difference in the lives of young children, and that this type of investment is critical not just for the Middle East, but for any humanitarian context around the world.